The Kentucky Wildcats were dominated, for lack of a better word, by the Georgia Bulldogs, physically, on the boards. Lots of issues to discuss. We will have those conversations on today's episode of the Wildcats Today podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Stefaniak, writer over at Kentucky Wildcats on SI, joined as always by a grumpy, not really. I mean, you should be grumpier than you are, but I'm in a decently okay mood for the circumstances, Carson Nash. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely fair.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about this game today. We're going to recap the Georgia game, but really we're talking more about the big picture issues. And then tomorrow on Friday, we will have a preview for the Mississippi State game, which hopefully should be a fun one. To me, original thoughts on this game, quick thoughts, quick takeaways is we are getting dominated physically, and until it stops, Kentucky is going to lose a lot of basketball games. Carson, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We got out-rebounded about 41-34, and that can't happen against a team like Georgia. So physically, it was not anything that we wanted or expected, honestly. I thought it was poor, very poor. Yeah. And now, I mean, we'll get to it later. The officiating was a little questionable. I'll give us that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you gotta play with more physicality. And the one thing I did like from after the game was Andrew Carr saying that we need to play a little nasty, a little more physical and a little more nasty, which I agree. Because if you watched, that's how Georgia won, right? I mean, they were playing mean and nasty. And the refs don't have to call everything. So if you play physical, it normally works out in your favor. And that's what we aren't doing right now and we need to do.
So here's my question, Carson. And I wrote an article about this today, and I think this is the question for Kentucky basketball right now. Is physicality something that you can turn on?
I think it's person to person. Honestly, I really do believe that. It's really just if you have that in you. I know it can be sparked by some things as well. So like maybe a loss right here will spark some physicality. But all it is really, like he said, playing mean and nasty, right? And that's not to say you need to go and injure the other team or anything like that. But it is to say, yeah, throw an elbow in that dude's rib cage when you go and rebound the ball because the official's not going to see that, and you're going to get good position and get the rebound. That's what you should do. And maybe throw a little knee into his thigh too. The official won't see that, but you're going to be more physical, and a lot of teams do that. Tennessee's a really good team that does that. They have always done that. They do the little gimmicky crap, the little knee to the thigh to get the box. Like, they'll do that, but it works. And I love how Pope even said we need to learn the rules a little better and, like, actually ask the officials what the rules are so we can use them to our advantage, almost exploit them, which I love that Pope's taking that initiative because I think that could give us an edge as well.
Well, I like that's the way he looks at the game, I think, in all aspects, and I think it's a great thing. But I just that's my concern. Is physicality something you can turn on? I mean, that's the reality here. I believe that you can turn it on to some extent, but then can you turn it on for 40 minutes? Can you turn it on for 16 more games? That is the question. I believe we can get nasty against Tennessee and against Alabama and against Auburn, but can you get nasty against Vandy, and can you get nasty against some of these teams? Because that's what happened last night. I think we went into that game. I'm not saying we looked past Georgia. We knew we were getting into, but I think that they came out and they played aggressive and they played well, and we weren't ready for it. But
I feel like we're having a situation where I don't want to knock anybody, but it seems like we're not getting up for these mid-level games as much as we would for like Duke or Gonzaga. Like, it seems like we don't play with the same fire that we did against those teams.
We have 3 top 10 wins and 3 unranked losses. I think it's exactly what we're saying is 100% accurate. That's just the reality. We don't seem to show, here's the deal. You know what's funny? If we would have won on Tuesday, I'd have predicted us to lose to Mississippi State. I think I'm going to predict us to win because I just think that's what we do. I think we're going to show up well tomorrow, or on Saturday. But the physicality, if it's not going to here's the deal. It's black and white. It's very simple. if we don't get more physical, we're not a good basketball team. We play in a physical league. If our players aren't willing to get a little bit nasty, as Andrew Carr said, and he's exactly right. He's exactly right. If we aren't willing to do that, this is going to get ugly, I think.
And I think, and we're saying the whole team needs to get more physical. I think you can exclude Lamont and Ortega because those two
and Garrison.
Yeah.
Those three. I agree.
Yeah, those three you can exclude because I think all three of those guys are good. Like they give physicality. But I think it starts with your bigs other than Garrison. Like Amari and Andrew Carr have to play more physical. Andrew Carr got thrown around in that game by Somto. Thrown around. Somto's a freshman. I know he's big and strong, but I mean, come on, dude. He can't chew gum and walk at the same time. We should be beating Somto. Like, and you're a senior. Like, so yeah, you're going to have to get more nasty and physical, and you're going to have to assert your dominance.
I think that the issue for players like that is that's just not the way they play. And that's my concern. Andrew Carr is a finesse basketball player. He's the nicest guy I've ever met in the world. Can he turn on the physicality? That's the question. Why did I suck at football, Carson? I look like Tarzan and playing like
like Jane.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't have that turn on the physicality thing. It's the same thing. Andrew Carr is just, can he turn it on? You got to be somebody that can just turn it on and say Marshawn Lynch run through a mother trucker's face. That's
you got to get mean.
You got to get angry. I mean, if you can, you got to play angry. Have you seen?
You got to play angry, but you also can't lose your composure too. So there's two aspects to it. You got to keep a steady head, but you also have to play physical at the same time, and that's hard to do for some people. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the season goes with that, because I think that's the key point to this team. And here's my thing. I think when Kerr comes back, I think a lot of those problems are going to be taken away because he brings the energy. Now, I mean, he still brings it on the bench. Like, he's still going crazy. But it's a difference when he's in the game and then takes the charge and smacks the ground 150 times and gets everybody fired up. Then you're playing more physical. So I think that'll help when he comes back, too.
Yeah, Goodman, Field of 68, said the same thing. And I agree. I don't always agree with him, but I agree with him on that. I think it's a great point that he is that road warrior dog that's just going to go and just say, screw you. Here I come. Watch this. Yeah. I don't care what you know what I mean. I don't care about people yelling at me. Don't care. Not at all. We're missing that. So hopefully when he's back on the floor, he can help us out in that aspect. I got a rebounding question for you, Carson.
Mm-hmm.
So I rewatched a couple games recently to just kind of skip through and watch our offensive possessions to see something. Mm-hmm. We're a team that likes to run.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a team that likes to run, sometimes I think you anticipate a defensive rebound and run out, hoping that we can get a rebound and then a fast break. My question for you is this. Should we sacrifice some of those opportunities to rebound better and maybe have some of your guards help you rebound more? Or do we want to keep running? What is your thoughts on that? I was thinking
that's a fantastic point, because I have noticed that too. And I think that's a discussion that Pope is having with his coaching staff and his team right now, because I think it depends game by game, right? Like when you're playing at Florida, maybe you drop another guard back and tell him to hang around for a defensive rebound instead of pushing that tempo. But against a team like Georgia, I just feel like you should be able to beat them straight up. Yeah. You shouldn't have to play a different type of way to beat them. Now, you weren't making any shots, so that didn't help you out either. So that was pretty bad. But I think it'll just depend game by game. Like Tennessee, you'll probably want to send another rebounder.
Yeah.
A&M.
Texas A&M,
yeah.
The best.
There'll be a couple games, because the SEC is definitely the most physical conference. So I'd say a majority of the games you'll see that. And I think we'll start to switch more to that. But it also does limit you some on the offensive end too. So there's a give and a take a little bit as well. But I trust Pope, and I think he'll find the right tempo to run at and the right things to do.
One good thing about this is I trust our coaching staff. It does. and that's why I think some of these issues are player-related issues because Coach Pope knows what's wrong. He said it a million times.
Yeah.
And it's not getting fixed. And I struggle to put this on Coach Pope because he's coaching the right way. It just must not be syncing with his players or stuff just isn't working out because we know he understands that we're struggling to rebound. He understands all these things. So I think that he needs, that's the reality. I think that we need to figure out how to fix this for the future. But so I guess, do you have any other thoughts, Carson, on physicality and rebounding? Because we need to talk about some other, keys to the struggles.
Not really. I also thought we lost a lot of loose balls. Hustle and physicality are the two biggest things. And it only happens in games we seem uninterested in. Like against Florida, we didn't have that problem as much. Like when you want to win the game, it seems like we're not doing that as much. But it is an issue. And so it's going to be interesting. I really hope Kerr fixes that problem because I think that will help. But the big men are really going to have to step up and play mean.
Yeah, I agree. To me, the physicality issues are only coming down low. We're not having physicality issues at the guard level because it's not as much of an issue.
I think our three has some physicality issues. I think Jaxson Robinson, I know we're going to talk about him. I think he hasn't been physical at all. And I think that he's been moping most of the games.
Yeah.
So we're going to need him to get in check or else we're going to be, I wouldn't say in trouble because I still think we're a good team, but we're going to need Jaxson to start playing more like the Jaxson Robinson that everyone knows.
So I guess to wrap up the rebounding, it has to be a priority every game. Our players, I always am a big believer in sports. You need to focus on one thing per game to work on or to get better. And for this Kentucky team, that needs to be rebounding. I am going to rebound the ball. I am going to attack rebounds. That is my focus this game. The offense, I know how to do that. I know how to go. Rebound the ball. I think that physicality, can you turn it on? If we can turn it on, we can be great, but we got to turn it on. So I think that kind of wraps up that conversation. But Jaxson Robinson.
Well, I'd one more major stat.
Yeah.
I just now noticed this, and I knew the game was sloppy, but we only had 8 assists against Georgia to 14 turnovers. That's our worst margin all season by a mile.
And I bet it will be the whole season.
Yeah, it probably will be the whole season. So, if you're doing that, that doesn't win you games at all. Yeah. So that has to get fixed, and I have no doubts that will get fixed. I think we're a good team. But
this is interesting. Coach Pope talked about this last night. We had 29 assist opportunities, which I guess the definition of that means a shot that if it goes down, it would have been an assist.
Yeah.
I don't know if they calculate if you would have shot instead of, I figured that's what it meant. But 29 opportunities and 8 assists, that's very simple to me. We didn't make any shots or anything around the rim.
And you noticed this too when we were watching it at Drake's. We had some opportunities right under the basket, but they wouldn't go up with the layup.
And then we kicked it out for threes. One was open, one was contested, but they were to Ortega, who I just am not a huge fan of him shooting a lot of threes. If he's open, shoot it, but I'm not a big fan of hand in the face him shooting it. Why are we're underneath the rim for a layup? Why are we kicking
no one around you?
That happened 3 times. Now, maybe they would have been tough shots, but they would have been, you should make them 7 out of 10 layups compared to a contested 3. I'll make it 7 out of 10 times layups over. And that one of them was a wide open layup. A couple of them would have been contested. It frustrates me. Take the 2. I like this 3-point shooting team thing, but that's okay, I'm a Mario Williams. My back is to the defender. And do I have any way I can make a move? Oh, kick it out for a 3. That's fine. Not when you have a wide open layup. You take the layup.
Here's my analogy, Andrew. What makes the passing game so much better?
What?
A good run game. So you got to be good inside. Yeah, it's a good analogy. It's a good analogy.
It opens things up.
If you have a good run game, it opens up the pass game.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good analogy. But so that's all got to be fixed. And that is the stuff. You're going to have games where you miss jump shots. You will. But that's the stuff that is A, going to keep you in those games, and B, help you win games with the other teams hitting shots as well. you could, if we weren't hitting jump shots, but we were in that ball game, if we were more physical, we could have won without hitting the broadside of a barn. That's what we have to let the physicality and rebounding keep us in games when the jump shots aren't falling, because it's going to happen. Then we're going to have games where we can't miss, and we're going to win by 20 against good teams. But when that doesn't happen, you have to be ready to be physical and rebound and play good defense. So that is what I think about that. But Carson, Jaxson Robinson, man, so the red button, the little flap above the red button is now open. Are you pressing it, or are you close to pressing it? Where are you on the red button press for Jaxson Robinson?
I'm not pressing it just yet.
Oh, I am.
Because you're pressing.
I'm
not pressing it just yet. It is still only the second SEC game, but I mean, I'm getting close. Like a finger's almost there. But I mean, he looks confused out on the court almost. Like it's something just baffling. I think, you know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of Justin Edwards last year. It seems like so in his head that it's like just taking control of him.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Jaxson Robinson's new to this system. And that's part of the issue.
He's not.
I know that. I'm kidding. That's my point. I'm saying, why is that? You know what I mean? He's played in it before.
Why is that? It's because of one thing that I think, and that's I think he should probably come off the bench now. And I know Pope said that that's not going to happen, but realistically, look at it. I mean, he plays best when he comes off the bench. Some players need to see the game get going a little bit before they come in. Look at Lou Williams. Lou Williams, the best sixth man of all time. I mean, he only came off the bench. But some players are just built like that. And with Kobe playing so well against Florida, I just think maybe we could see a change just to see if it ignites Jackson's spark. And then maybe you think about bringing him back in the starting lineup. Like the Rockets sent Reed down the G League. He dropped 50. I bet he'll be back up soon.
Yeah, he'll be back there. I mean, he went like 8 for 15 from 3 or 8 for like
It
was insane.
He was like, screw you. You sent me to the G League. I'm going to dominate.
Yeah. But I'm hammering the panic button. I just, there's one thing, I don't like moping. I don't like looking. I don't like any of it. And he does not look comfortable out there. He looks like he's moping around. I don't like the way Jaxson Robinson is playing right now. Kobe, yes, he went 2 for 9 last game from 3. 3 of those were literally through the net and back out. I don't even know how it's possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was a great example of that game just not going our way.
Exactly. And then they're banking fadeaways from the
corner. Yeah, like a corner bank fadeaway from out of bounds. It was absurd.
And
was it Mike?
What?
Was it you or Mike that said, well, we just lost. They're banking in threes.
Oh, both me and Mike. I mean, you know, in a Kentucky game, at that point in the game where he banked it, you knew the game was over. Like, you could just feel it. As much as Kentucky basketball as everyone's seen, you just know when you're going to lose.
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
And not to mention Olandis Poole, the referee who got investigated by the NBA and no longer works in the NBA because of it, wasn't going to let us get back in that game either. So and Andrew can attest to this. I've been getting better with officials. I have been, haven't I?
Yeah, you have been. And you know that I'm the big, they didn't change the game. And the officiating was awful. It cost us a lot of points. And it's hard to, I don't want to be, it cost us the game.
I don't think it didn't make us lose. We missed every shot. It didn't make us lose. But
it didn't help us. And it was bad. It was bad officiating. I'm so pissed about it. I was talking to my papaw last night. And now papaw's like you, Carson. He likes to let you know when the refs don't have a good showing. But I told him, I said, papaw, listen, I never gripe about officiating. It was horrible, start to finish, awful. Seriously.
It's bad when you have to learn the name of the referees after the game. I mean, it was horrible. It was the worst officiated game I've seen since the John Higgins game in the Elite Eight. And I mean, that's saying something, because I felt like every time they went down the court, they got a foul, but every time we went down the court, we got hacked and there was nothing.
Yes.
So I think as much as it didn't lose us the game, there was no way we could come back in that game because of the way they were officiating it. And that was my pet peeve.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you on that. So I mean, I'm pressing the red button on Jaxson. Carson says he's close, but he's not quite there yet. Pope's not going to sit him in the bench. I'm a big believer in if Coach Pope says something, he stands by it. But I think he should. I
know. I think a scenery change would be good for him. I mean, he seems a little out of it. I just think it might work.
Run Kobe with those guys. See, maybe he's better. Maybe Jackson's better with. You never know. So, I just think. But I mean, Jaxson, we're not trying to crap on you, buddy. We need you to be good. We need you to be better.
That game right there is the game where you need Jaxson Robinson to be the superstar. Where nothing's going right, you can't get a call. You need Robinson to go hit 6 threes
because Ortega ain't going to help you because he ain't getting any calls down low.
Yeah, exactly. He could get tackled. He's not getting a call. You need to go and you need to make 6 threes and go off by yourself like Antonio Reeves would have done.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed out of him that night. And it didn't work out. But I'm not pressing it yet. I think Jaxson can come back.
I'm close. I pressed it, but I mean, we need him to be good. It's not like he's pressed it, so I'm saying I don't want to. He's going to play.
No, for us to make a Final Four, Jaxson Robinson has to step up.
And he's got time to figure it out, which is the good news. It's not like this is March 1st now. I've got one more thing to talk about, and it's going to piss a lot of people off, and I'm ready to do it. What are your thoughts on the video of Ortega at the free throw line? And I know that we're going to disagree on this.
I actually didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it when we're losing. I would love it if he did that when we were winning. Because I mean, he's right. He's 100% correct. I just don't like talking shit when you're losing. I think I agree with you on that.
I agree. My issue.
But now when you play them in the SEC tournament, you should like do the Fortnite emote because they were punks too. Like they deserve everything they're going to get when we play them again.
You have not. Do you remember what I said? I said this before. I think you left after Drake. I said I am praying we see them in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
I want to beat this team
so bad.
I want a Fortnite emote dance on them.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
yeah.
But so the thing is, I agree with you. My opinion on that: the fans that say this is our Super Bowl, Carson. Oh man, look at this. Georgia's Carson back to enter transfer portal.
Whoa.
Crazy.
Wildcats Today breaking news.
Breaking news about something completely irrelevant to what we're talking about.
That's so big though.
But yeah, people are going to be like, well, it's not really breaking news. I heard it half an hour ago, but whatever. But the Ortega thing to me, I hate it. Hate it. I think that is so for such a tough player. You got to be mentally stronger than that. What are you saying that for?
That's exactly my point.
Why are you saying that? That is mentally weak to me. And Ortega Owe is not a mentally weak person.
Mm-mm.
And that's why I was surprised by that. What do you gain from that?
Nothing.
Maybe it is. Or does it make you feel better about losing that it was their Super Bowl? And I get for us fans, that's what it does, is us saying it was their Super Bowl.
Not even really. I could care less.
But I think, I mean, I kind of get irked when fans say it, just a hair. It is true.
No, yeah. See, I don't run around saying it because I know it's true. I don't love it either. I don't love saying it because like it's gotten to a point where we're using it as we lose and we just say that. Like, yeah, you should say it when you win too. Like, be like, yeah, we're your Super Bowl. Of course we are. We're Kentucky. We're always going to be. You don't have to say it.
I've always disliked. I feel like it's like some of these fan bases that haven't, that aren't. I mean, we saw the Georgia people in freaking shoulder pads at the basketball game.
I got a question for you. You don't like the Super Bowl. Do you like the overrated chants?
No. Was it you or Mike? I always forget who says what. Was it you?
It was probably Mike. I was home by then.
I think it was Mike. Yes, it was Mike. You got to hear Mike talk about this. Mike, said like, if you're saying we're overrated, then you're just saying that you're not that good and that your win over us isn't that important.
I know.
Why are you saying that? You should say
ridiculous.
They're really good and we beat them. They're really good and we beat. You know what I mean? Because that means that you're good too. I don't understand the overrated chant. I've always thought we did it last year about Miami. It's just stupid. Don't ever do the overrated chant.
No, yeah, and immediately Cal's like cut that out.
I remember that. Yeah, and I love
like we're never gonna chant that. Like, don't ever chant that.
But so the Ortega thing to me, and I don't love it when fans say it. To me, I think Georgia, they're a fan base. They've got a relatively new coach. They like to get behind their basketball program more. I don't think you're allowed to dislike opposing teams' fans, but I just think don't take away a big win from them. I think that's if we get a big win in football.
Now, if they're going to take it away from themselves, let them. Overrated.
Yes. But to me, it's I don't care as much about fans as I do that. What Ortega said, that's just, I think we're the best, and let's just be the best by being the best. I agree. You sound like you're not the best when I'm telling you, hey, we're the best. Well, you don't sound like that.
I like to win and then tell you we're the best.
And that's fine
my
too.
Favorite thing. Like, I'm better than you.
Yeah. I don't like, don't lose me. Like, we have 8 national championships. Who cares?
Lose, keep your head held high, don't talk trash, and then beat their ass in the SEC tournament.
Exactly. So I think that's a lot to fans. If you're saying I'm an old man yelling at the clouds, that's fine. I understand it. I tend to be that a lot for some.
And hey, I know you didn't think I was going to agree with you, but I do. I agree with what you said. I think I don't know. We've been using it too much and it's always when we lose. Only when we lose too. So like,
say it when we win. I don't care. Yeah. Yeah. If the arena's like that and you win, man, you lost your Super Bowl. Sorry. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah.
But exactly. That's fine because you're talking crap after you win. I don't. You're saying that. Well, you're a Super Bowl. You're saying that, and I know everyone. To me, that's you're trying to make yourself feel better about losing. Well, we lost, but it doesn't matter because we were the Super Bowl. Who cares? We lost. I don't like to lose.
And I have breaking news for everybody. It's going to happen at every stadium.
Yeah, it is. So
it always has.
So that bothers me that people do that. I mean, that's just the reality. I mean, our atmosphere for Georgia, I think was one of in football was one of the best of the season because it was our Super Bowl. That's the reality.
How about officiating taking both of the games?
That's true. But I mean, I think you got to look at it both ways. We're proud. We have a proud basketball program and a not so proud football program. That Georgia game was our Super Bowl, and we came darn close. And we know that. We have to be willing to admit that. That was our Super Bowl. We lost. This was their Super Bowl, and they won. But like saying it like that, I don't like it. I agree with it. We're all thinking it, but the players, fans, you know whatever the heck you want. I think it's a bit weak to often say it after we lose, but players never should say that. I was big anti that, and I hope Coach Pope saw that and is going to say, hey, Ortega, man, come on, we don't need you to say that. So old man's yelling at clouds. That's me, but that's reality. Carson, any other thoughts before we get out of here?
Alandis Poole sucks, and hopefully he doesn't officiate any more of our games. Yes. That's pretty much all.
Don't like him. Not a big fan. Yeah. Agreed with you there. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to break down this Mississippi State game. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, if this snow stays away, we're going to go watch the Burl Brew, which I'm looking forward to. That place is awesome. Burl Brew, we'd love you to sponsor.
And feel free to come pull up and watch it with us. Come say hello.
Yeah, it's an awesome place if you haven't ever been there. Burl Brew. I love. We were there for the Gonzaga game. It was such a great atmosphere. Had a great time watching it there.
Yeah, recommend it to everybody.
Yes.
Burl Brew.
So tomorrow we will have a preview of the Mississippi State game. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, we're getting so close to 2,000. So close. We're 31 away, I believe.
It's getting there. We're getting there.
Hitting that button. We're really close. Really appreciate y'all that have been here since day one and everybody's support.
Shout out to our boy Dalton too.
Yes, Dalton. He hit us up on Instagram. He was excited to hear Carson shout about the officiating. I know that. So shout out to Dalton, buddy. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll see y'all tomorrow to break down the Mississippi State game. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we will see y'all on Friday.